everyone. Welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am Cece Schatz, a doyen of relationship building. You're listening to Going Solo with Cece, and I want to thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I do apologize. Our guest, it looks like we've got our wires crossed. If some of you know me, I have been ill, unfortunately, and my schedule has been totally upside down. And so some people that I had scheduled to be on the show previously, we had to reschedule, and then now their schedules are a little crazy. So we might be going through a little bit of that right now. So we're going to have a wonderful guest. Her name is Edna J White. She's a certified life purpose coach, and she's a performance coach, speaker, author, and she's also licensed in real estate, and she's an instructor. We're going to have her on the show. Either she's going to come tonight or we're going to have her on another night. So in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you just briefly. We'll make this a very short show, but I'm going to talk to you about how to get through stuff in your life. You know, crap happens, right? Things happen. And sometimes we just have to go with the cards that were dealt us, right? And I know I've certainly felt that here lately with my health. It was a little bit upside down for me there. And I'm just so thankful that I have wonderful friends like you and family that has kind of gotten me through it. I think I'm definitely going to be on the other side of it and doing very well. But here's the thing is, how do we get through stuff, right? And so as I was thinking about that, I thought, in order to simplify our lives, we have to start thinking about what it is that we want to do, how we want to get through our lives. How complicated do we want our lives to be, right? My daughter often says the drama, right? Do we want all that drama in our lives? So I think we have to start out by better understanding the stuff that we have in our lives. And I'm not talking about items in which you have, I'm talking about that emotional baggage in which we carry, and we all have it. We all have stuff that's in our lives. We all have things that are going on within our lives. We all have this little topsy-turvy type of thing. But how complicated do we want our lives to be? And so that's the very first thing we have to think about, is that look at all that's around us, not only in our environment, but also in our emotional environment, in our physical environment. And how do we want to show up? How do we want our lives to be? And I think once we start really sorting that out in our mind's mind, we can then figure out what we want to start eliminating, what we want to start giving away, right? So all those things like you normally do when you're cleaning out your closet, do I want to keep it? Do I want to donate it? Do I want to throw it out? I think we have to do that both, physically with all of our things that we have, but also emotionally. We have to think about, is this really working in my life? Is this something that I truly want? So very first thing is, again, as I might have said, is what complicates your life? What is happening within the world around you that makes your life complicated? Can you do things in which to smooth that out? Can you get help with that? Are you able to, find coaches or find mentors in your life that can help sort out some of those things for you? Are there some things, let's talk about clutter control. Are there some things you want to get rid of, right? Are there some things in your life that you're saying to yourself, this is not working for me? And it's okay. It's okay that not everything works, right? Because if we come to life and realize that things aren't working for us, then the reality is things are working for us. And so we have to start kind of sorting that out. So we have to have an inbox of what's good for us and an outbox of what isn't working for us. And then we have to start making a mental note as to how we want to be able to move forward in our lives. What can we personally change within our environment to be able to make things better for us, right? Both emotionally, physically, our surroundings, all of those kind of things. My mother used to always tell me, I think it was a trick to clean my room. She used to always say, hey, if you have a messy environment, your mind's going to be messy. Your life's going to be messy. Things around you are not going to line up. You're not going to feel aligned. And I think so often when we're going through crazy stuff that happens in our lives are not aligned, right? We're not as to where we're supposed to be in our lives. So we have to start taking stock of those. And there's various different things that you can do with that. You can start really homing in, doing some meditation, figuring out what it is that you truly want in your life. You can start reading some books about various different topics that you think that might interest you. You can start going out and making some new friends, right? Broadening your horizon as to what you want to do in your life, right? We are, believe it or not, the friends that we surround ourselves with are so uplifting and inspiring to us. So if we find ourselves in a humdrum environment, could it be the people you're hanging with, right? Is it that drama that's going on, that turmoil that's going on within their lives that is sucking us into ours? And we can love at a distance, and that's okay to love at a distance. It's all right to do that. And so these are the things that we want to start taking stock in. Do we want to keep them in our inbox, or do we want to go in the outbox, or do we want to kind of file it away for another time? Because emotionally, we can only take certain things of what we can do. We can only control certain things, right? We can only control, objects and environments that are within our scope of what we can actually handle. And things that are happening without us on the other side, they're really not for us to do. Maybe they're for us to observe, to realize we don't want to go there, right? Or we do want to go there. And so life is just really fascinating. It's an environment that we can really take a hold of and really make it our own. And I was so pleased to be able to have Edna on we'll definitely have her on, because I feel like understanding our purpose in life is a real goal to help us get through stuff. Understanding why are we here on this earth, and what are we supposed to go through, and what is on the other side of that for us. I believe that that's all questions that are very, very important. So let's go on with our topic here tonight, what we're going to talk about a little bit. Set a timer and go. How often have we been in a place in our lives where we want to achieve something and we want to do something, but we've got the start-stop mentality, right? We've got this idea that we can't succeed because mentally we think we can't. So let's set a timer and go. Let's say to ourselves, I can achieve this. I want this to happen. I'm going to do it by such and such date. And let's do that. Sometimes when we put a time on it, when we say to ourselves, concrete, write it down, I'm going to make this happen, it happens right before our very eyes, right? It evolves when we least expect it. And why? Is because we've changed our mindset, we've made a turn, and we've moved forward in it. And so let's set a timer. Let's say, okay, I'm going to make this happen, and I'm going to make this happen in my life. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let all the other things that are stopping me, but I'm going to move forward in my life simply because I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it so. What's that, Star Trek? Then you always say that, make it so, right? And I think we should all do that. We should all have that mindset about making it go. Make everything the way it is that we want it to do. So let's set our timer and let's go for it. So now what we have to do is we have to acknowledge the stuff that's taken over our lives. We have to realize that what are those roadblocks that we've mentally put into our lives that is not making this happen for us. And then we have to start moving those aside. We have to start creating a shift for ourselves. And so we have to start saying to ourselves, what can I do today, one step closer to what I want tomorrow, right? What is it that I want to do? Let's say, for instance, you want a new job, right? You decided, I'm not happy with this. I'm not making the kind of money I want to make. I want to move forward into another field. What can I do to educate myself to be able to move forward into this next field of life? The whole thing is so often we think that whatever we're doing today, we're stuck with and we have to do it, right? If we're single, that we just have to be single. We don't necessarily have to, we don't have to date or whatever. Or maybe we're afraid of dating. Or what is it that we want in a partner in our lives? There's so many things that's stopping us from creating what it is that we want to do. So number one, we got to figure out what it is that we want to do. We want to create that mindset of what it is that we want to do. Then we have to figure out how we're going to get there, right? So what do we need to do? Do we need to read a book? Do we need to talk to people? Do we need to start educating ourselves on whatever it is, right? Do we need to have a shift in our mindset so we create a positive environment in which to go forward, right? And then we have to set that timer and we have to say, let's go, let's do it. And we're going to do it by blankety blank date. I will share with you that I developed recently a new website. It's called Going Solo Community. We're popping up another one, which is Meet the Right One. And I was given constantly individuals telling me I could not do that. I could not do all the things that I wanted to do within the site. There's nobody is ever going to tell me I cannot do something. Never, right? There's a way to do it if I really, truly want it done. So I'm going to share with you that if you want something in your life, if you want something truly to shift and change for yourself, it can be done. We just have to figure out how to go about doing it. What is it truly exactly that you want to happen? What? Do you want to have more people in your life? Do you want to make more friends in your life? Do you want to start creating a full life, right? And not just existing. So these are the things that you want to start sorting out of what you want to do. Then we want to start putting together a roadmap of how to be able to make that happen for ourselves. Start developing, do we need to, what avenues do we need to do? Because let's think, so often people think, I'm going to wake up this morning and my life is going to be changed. The reality is your life isn't going to be changed other than you're in a new day, right? And you're starting all over again. And so what are you going to do different, right, to make it happen? What's that? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, thinking that something's going to change. Nothing's going to change unless you make it happen, right? Unless you shift your mindset to be able to make it happen. So here's the reality. So what we have to do is start putting together a roadmap of what it is that you want to accomplish in your life, where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to feel. And we never do that. We never think about how do we want to feel in something. We just get through it and there we are and we're thinking, is that it? Is that all it's going to happen for me? So I want to ask you today to envision how you want to feel to the other side of it. When you're thinking about changing something for yourself, you're thinking about moving forward, getting through the stuff in your life, think about how you're going to feel on the other side of it, right? Are you going to feel joyful? Are you going to feel relieved? Are you going to feel like conquering another task? Those are the kind of things that are real to you and make your life worth living, because all of this is really truly your own environment. Clutter. Let's talk about clutter in our life. We talk about clutter as far as our environment goes. We have papers. Our life, we said we were going to be in a paperless world. Forget that. Papers everywhere. You look at my desk is a mess. There's paper everywhere. I have paper filed that I probably never look at again. All this stuff. But it's clutter, right? So let's think about our personal life and how we feel about ourselves being, do we have a file cabinet of stuff in our lives, right? That we're going to get at someday. I'm going to do that someday. I'm going to have that bucket list, right? Of things I'm going to accomplish in my life. There's certain things that I want to feel in my life, right? I'm going to feel that someday. I'm going to feel good about my life as I look back on it. Well, I think we should feel good about our lives today as we're looking forward into it, as we move forward into our lives. And so we want to think about all the clutter that's around us, things that are getting in our way. Can we shift that stuff aside? Are they truly that important to us, right? So if we need to go back to school and we need to get educated on what we want to do, how can we start creating a path for ourselves? If we want to start dating, if we want to start, well, I don't know if I ever ask anybody if they ever want to start dating, because I don't think anybody in the world ever wants to really start dating, right? What we want is the end result of dating. I really want somebody in my life. Well, what kind of person do you want in your life, right? What do you see yourself? How do you see yourself with that person, whoever that person might be? How does that person make you feel? How do you feel with a person? What do you have to get rid of in order to have a person into your life? That's a very good question. Let's just ponder that for a minute, because a lot of times I think that as we move forward, and I look like heck, so I do apologize, but but as we move forward, right? We always say, "Oh, I want somebody in my life. I want this and that," but we don't want to give up anything, right? We don't want to move aside anything. We don't want to open that door. We don't want our environment to change. Nah, not for that person. Not for that special human being that can just bring so much light and goodness and warmth into our life. We don't want to give up anything. Why would we want to give up anything? We're happy in this humdrum life that we have, watching reruns of some sort of show we're so dead fast that we have to watch that this night, right? We're so okay with eating those TV dinners, those microwave meals, that we're not going to give that up. We're not going to give up any item that's within our house. We're not going to clean out a closet to create space. We're not going to do anything. So why do we expect that we're going to have something new within our lives, right? It's not going to happen. My mom used to always say to me, when you want something new in your life, you have to give something up for it. You have to create an exchange for it. What are you willing to give up in your life to be able to get what it is that you truly want, right? If you want, we've got comments here. Oh boy, let's see. Oh, we got some sort of, what? I know that we've made it. I know that we're successful because now we're getting those bop comments, right? So I appreciate your bop comment, because it makes me feel like I've actually achieved something here along the way. But what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to exchange for something that you want, right? And again, my mom used to say, if you want a new pair of shoes, you have to get rid of an old pair, right? You have to make way for it. And so I think that if we want somebody new in our life, we have to create a space for them in our lives, which means we have to create the shift in our mindset that we want to have someone in our lives. We want to actually do some different things, right? We want to embrace something new in our lives. We want to listen to different music. We want to, because they may not like the same music that we like. So maybe we need to be open-minded and maybe listen to some different kind of music and think, that's not so bad. I can listen to that 50% of the time, right? Or maybe we want to watch some different shows. Maybe we want to do some different experiences. It's all about sharing the experience in life, right? And I think that we miss out on thinking we want everything to be the same. I don't want to give up this path of exactly what I do on Thursday nights because somebody different's going to come into my life. Someone new's going to come into my life. They're going to shed some light and some enlightenment on my life. So we have to know that in order for us to move forward in our lives, we have to definitely get rid of the clutter. We have to get rid of something old to bring in something new. Then we have to keep it simple. As we're moving forward in our lives, we have to keep it very, very simple. So often we want to complicate things. We want, I'll do this for this and this and that and whatever. Well, I'm going to have to lose weight in order to bring somebody into my life, right? I'm not going to be able to change careers unless I know everything about this particular job. That's not true. I'll share with you. Years and years ago, I worked at a law firm. And I went for my interview for the law firm and the attorney. And I knew some stuff. I'm not saying I didn't know things, right? And so he said to me, "Do you know how to do blah 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 blah?" I said, "Oh yeah, not a problem, not a problem. Do you know how to do, you did say all these things that I know. Do you know how to do that?" "Oh yeah." So yeah. I could type, I could do certain things, but there were certain requirements within this job that I did not know how to do, right? And so I wanted this job, right? I wanted it. I wanted to make it happen, right? It was more money for me, more money for my family. It was good benefits. So I wanted to move in. I was in sales before, and I wanted to move into something that was a little bit more steadfast, and I thought would give me a platform. So, oh yeah, I can do it. Now, I don't know. Maybe would you say that I lied? Maybe I lied a little bit, but I curved it. I knew that I could do it. I could pick it up fast. I'm a fast learner. I knew I could kind of pick it up fast, but I fibbed. I fibbed outright. And he knew it. He absolutely knew it. But later on, I worked for him for like 7 years, right? And we got along really great guy, Steve Thomas, and he's deceased now. I loved him dearly. And but we talked about this years later, and I said, I didn't know anything how to do any of that, that you wanted me to do. And he said, I knew it. He said, but you were so enthusiastic. You brought such a light into the office that it was worth it. And I knew you were going to do well. And I knew you were going to try to learn your very best and learn it quickly because you wanted it so much. And, who would I like to work for? Somebody that doesn't really want it and is grumpy and miserable every day? Or do I want to work for somebody that is going to do their all to get ahead, to be able to strive and enlighten my office? He said, so I chose you. And I worked like crazy. I thought I worked over the weekend all night trying to learn these things. And I picked everything up. I did an okay job. He used to always tell me that. And that was before we had, believe it or not, computers. And so you went on. But the thing is the reality is you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, but you have to get rid of the things that are around you. You have to get rid of that clutter in your mind saying that you can't achieve something. Because so often everything that we want is right there for the taking. It's right there for us. And we definitely can step into it. So we have to keep it simple. We have to say to ourselves, yes, we can make this happen. What is the ABC I need to do for it? And then we need to start putting the motions in place as we want to move forward with it. So let's move on to the next thing. So you want to get rid of what you don't need. And we talked a little bit about that at the beginning, your inbox, outbox. You want to get rid of what you truly don't need. But here's the thing is we really have to shift our mindset to figure out what is it truly we don't need in our life. We had a show on Getting Started Life, and they talked about, if you wanted to live off the grid. I never thought in a million years I would want to live off the grid. No, I like power. I like all that stuff. But, as he was talking about what he needed to do to be able to do this, to achieve this, that him and his family wanted to do, there was a lot of preparation that he needed to do. A lot of things he had to learn, and a lot of things he had to learn to let go of, right? And I think so often we have to learn sometimes to let go of things. We have to learn to let go of our mindset that telling us that there are certain ways in which things have to be done. Maybe there's not certain ways in which things have to be done. Maybe we can actually chart a new course, right? And be able to move forward in our lives in a totally different way. So maybe if we start shifting our mindsets, thinking that there's a new way of doing something, let me find out what that way is. Maybe it will enlighten us so that we learn something totally different, step out of the box and achieve what it is that we truly want. And maybe along the way, we have to shift our mindset as we're moving forward, getting through some of those stuff. And I think that's really a very positive way in order to move forward in your life. So getting the help that you need, that you might feel overwhelmed and, at times getting through this. So often we do, especially those that are transitioning from a relationship, a loss of a relationship, or even stepping into a relationship, that transition that we go through when we're stepping into a relationship. But, the thing is it's just so, sometimes it's really that shift in our mindset to be able to do that. Sometimes we have to, let go of the past. We have to get help along the way. I love YouTube, because if there's something you want to know how to do, all you have to do is YouTube it and you can learn, right? You can learn how to do it. And so, so maybe there's something that we have to learn along the way. Maybe there's something not only educational, that we have to learn a new skill for it, but maybe we have to learn something more about ourselves, that we're capable of doing it. We're capable of stepping out of the box and doing something different, that we have to really enlighten ourselves. And there's individuals out there, coaches, mentors, that can help you along the way if you get stuck. I was just listening to a show today with great coaches that are dating coaches, and Barry Selby and Christine Baumgartner, and they're just wonderful on Let's Talk Dating. And, as I was listening to them today, I was thinking to myself, who would have thought there would be such experts out there in such a field that is so difficult to be able to guide ourselves through. Who would have thought that there are such wonderful coaches and mentors that have given of themselves to be able to help people move through some of those difficult times in our lives? So when we start to feel overwhelmed, we have to step back for a minute and try to figure out what it is that's making us feel that way. I felt that this weekend when I became sick and was in the hospital. I felt extremely overwhelmed. I thought, oh my gosh, this is totally out of arena for me because I'm healthy. I move forward. If I want to do something, I pretty much get it done. I'm happy go lucky. I have moments. You can ask my ex-husband. He'll tell you I'm not the best. But the reality is I am pretty good, and health-wise, I've been very, very good. And I ended up having to call an ambulance, and I looked at my son's face and realized, oh my gosh, I am sick and I can't do this by myself, right? I kept getting up. I'll share with you, I had pains in my chest. I kept getting up, walking around. And that wasn't really pains. It was just a heaviness in my chest and my shoulder hurt. And I was having a little bit of trouble breathing. I kept thinking, I'll go in the other room. I'll go, in the bedroom. I'll go in the living room. That didn't help. I'll go in the kitchen. That didn't help. I went in the bathroom. That didn't help. I kept moving around, thinking I was going to shake this. And as I'm doing this, I'm getting overwhelmed, right? I'm starting to think, oh, I am out of the box. I do not know what's happening with my body. I'm not in control of anything. This is not working for me. And I looked at my son's face and I realized I had to do something, because if I didn't do it, something was going to happen to me and he would feel guilty over it. And so we decided, okay, let's call the ambulance. Called the ambulance. Bing, bang, boom. They came. They knew exactly what it was. They gave me the medication I needed, started relieving everything instantly. But here's the thing. If I hadn't done that, if I didn't realize that there were people out there that could help me, that I could teach me to be able to get through this, I wouldn't have done that, right? And so I had to get rid of a lot of stuff in that 20 minutes before we called the ambulance. I had to get rid of a lot of stuff that was in my head that was telling me, don't call them, don't get up a hospital bill, don't do all of these things. You're going to go there, you're going to get COVID, you're going to do, all these weird stuff that was going on in my head. But the reality was I needed to do this for not only myself, I needed to do it for my family. And I needed to be able to get out of myself, get out of my mind, get out of feeling overwhelmed, and get experts to help me move forward. And that's what I did. And so I went to the hospital, got the medication I need. Now I'm on the right stuff and I'm feeling much, much better. But the reality is my life took a shift in those few minutes there. I realized that I couldn't conquer everything myself. I couldn't do everything myself, that I had to step out and get help to be able to do it. And I think that we all get to a point in our lives where, whether it's, that a job, or whether it's just our day-to-day living, whether it's our relationships, whether it's our health, whether it's all of these facets of our life, our spiritual life, we need help along the way. And we need to be able to get experts that can help us do and achieve what it is that we wanted to do. At that moment, I wanted to be held. I wanted to feel better, right? I wanted to get this feeling that I felt over with, and I wanted to go back to feeling decent. And so we were able to achieve that in a very, very fast fashion. So we have to get experts along the way sometimes to help us. We have to get rid of some habits. And let's talk about the habits for a little bit. There's just two more things, habits and one more thing. So I just wanted to make this quick, but you know me, I start talking, blah, 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 and I get going. So habits, let's talk about them, because I think our habits are the biggest hindrance for us to move forward in our lives. We create this mindset that things have to be a certain way. We're delusional, I think, that things on the other side have to be this way or it's not going to be right in our mindset, right? We have this picture in our minds that this is where our future is going to be. So often those that are in dating, right? They're looking for a relationship. They have this mindset of what they see on the other side of it. And I think we do need that. I think we do need to see and feel what we're going to feel on the other side of a relationship, because we know we have to know what it is that we want. But sometimes our habits create a hindrance for us to be able to move forward. I have heard many, many times within our coaching that we've done. Oh, I do apologize for this. I think it's Edna on the phone, but I'll call her back since we're just kind of late here in the game. But so often I hear people all the time talk about how they don't want change. Why do you think you're going to have somebody new in your life? Why do you think you're going to get a new job, right? A new profession, a new life, all these things that are new in your thing, and you're not going to have change in your life. So it's because we want that comfort of our habits, right? We want the comfort of being able to watch that TV show that we used to watch all the time at that particular time. We want certain things to have to take place. Saturdays I do this, or Sundays I do that, or whatever I do. Well, the reality is all of that needs to kind of be on the level ground as we're talking about moving forward in our lives for whatever it is. If we decide we want to go into a new profession, if we want a new environment in our lives, if we're going to move, if we want happiness of some sort, that's maybe something that's not working out, if we want a relationship, all of those things our habits have to kind of lay down. And it doesn't mean you have to give them up. It doesn't mean that you have to give up some of your favorite shows. You have to give up some of your favorite music, or you have to give up travel, or you have to give up anything. But you have to shift your mindset that it's not as important, because habit is simply that. It's simply a regimental thing that you feel mentally you have to do at that particular time each time. The reality is that you can do it at another time, right? You can move it to another place, right? And so I think that our habits get in our way. And so we could take and evaluate our habits as to the importance of them. Do we truly need these particular habits in our lives to be able to survive? Is there certain things that we have to do in order to have these habits take place? Or can we say, I'm going to lay that habit down and I'm going to try something different, and maybe I'm going to enjoy something different in my life? And by laying it down, believe it or not, you open the doors to a lot more opportunity for you, because our habits are what bind us, that keep us holding us back. And so if we allow, and I'm telling you, I have habits just like everybody else. So things are not so easy for me either. But I know that things that I enjoy in my life that are important to me, I can still do them at different times in my life. And maybe the person that I might have in my life would like to enjoy them too, right? And maybe we don't have to do them all the time, but maybe we can do them some. And maybe we can look at things a little bit differently. And I think if we do that, we start thinking about our habits and think, you know what? I don't have to have dinner at 6:00. I can have it at 6:15 and be just as happy. So think about your habits, what truly is important to you. Write down the ones that you truly need to do. Maybe there's a particular reason that you do it, and that it can be adjusted, because habits can be totally adjusted in your life. And so the last thing I want to share with you is be good to you as we move forward in our lives and we're getting through stuff. And it's getting through it. So just remember that where you're at today, and I've said this so many times, where you're at today is not where you're going to be tomorrow, nor where you're going to be in the future, because it keeps evolving. Your life keeps evolving. So along the way, you want to be good to you. You want to do things that make you happy, that make you feel good, that make you feel secure. And we do have Edna, so we're going to pop her up here for just a couple minutes, but then we're going to have to close out the show. We'll bring her back again. So hold on just some. See, I told you we had a guest tonight. Hey,
I am so sorry. I didn't know how to work this thing. Please.
Oh, it's okay. But I tell you what, we're on the very end of the show.
Okay, that's fine.
The topic, and maybe you might want to make a comment. I switched the topic to how to get through stuff in our lives.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll have you come back and we'll talk, because I wanted to save your topic because I think that it was very important. But let's introduce you, because I'd like everybody to know who you are. Our guest tonight is Edna J White. She's a certified life purpose and performance coach. She's a speaker, wonderful speaker, author, and she's a licensed real estate broker and instructor. And so tell us just briefly a little bit about why you decided to get into coaching and helping others.
Well, I tell you, I was lost for a long while, and even in the real estate field in New York State, it was male dominated, so nobody told me anything. So I had to figure anything out about myself. So that's really why one of the things that I did is I figured, I need to get some help, and I know other women have gone through this. The second thing is when I started to be a certified life coach, I am a childhood sexual abuse survivor. I'm actually a thriver. And no one ever told me how this would affect my life when I got to become an adult. How it would affect my relationships, my money, my food, my whole perception of having children, how it affected everything about my life. And so I said, you know what? I'm not by myself. I know I'm not. Even though I feel like I'm by myself, like the guy in the bubble, I know I'm not by myself. So I decided, I said, let me reach out to other people. And then I've been doing it for since 2003. But I didn't make it a business till 2015. And when I did that, it was like the doors just opened and people started coming in, and I started, working with them, and I started working with a major organization called RAINN.org.
Mm-hmm.
They were, they deal with sexual trauma, and they literally said, we got to take you on, and took my book in called Stuff. The stuff that no one told us that I would experience when I was an adult after childhood sexual abuse. So they took that book on, and they share it. It's one of the books that they share with victims of childhood sexual abuse. So in my experience, now, that's really why I did, become a certified coach. Because all of that other stuff, no matter what we do, if in business, if we don't get all of that right, we're not going to have a great business.
Yeah. So I had changed the title to be How to Get Through Stuff in Our Lives. But the reality is the stuff that we get through are really what makes us the individuals that we are.
Oh, absolutely.
And even though it's trauma, like what you experience is far, far worse than what I have ever experienced in my life, but it creates a shift in our lives, right? An awareness in our lives. And then, reaching out, wanting to help other people and creating that shift in their lives is really a wonderful, beautiful thing. So we got to have you back on because we only have maybe another 5 minutes to be able to talk.
But it was my mistake, guys.
No, it happens, and sometimes this platform is a little crazy too because you have to use Google to get on it.
Yeah,
but it's a beautiful platform, and I love it. I will say wonderful things about it, but I'd like to share with everyone. You do have some coaching sessions on your website, which is called Edna White Coaching, and then you just do and then it goes clickeasy.com. And there's several different ones on there. But if you guys want to call her before we do the next show, that would be cool. You just call her at 631-295-8631 and book a live session with you. I think that would be great. But I've heard it over and over again. A lot of wonderful coaches talk about their experiences in life and, the trauma they went through or life experiences they went through that changed their lives. And they've gotten to the other side of those. And so I wanted to be able to share tonight with, and I thought about it at the last minute, is like getting through some of the stuff, even though we feel the stuff that we've gone, that's hurting us, that's approaching us. And we sometimes feel overwhelmed about it.
Right.
If we can get through to the other side, it can totally change our lives, create a shift for us, and create a whole new path
Right.
as it has done with you. Tell me a
Right.
little bit about the book that you wrote.
Well, the book stuff is really, I contemplated talking about the incidences. I wrote this book literally 5 years before I published it because I was so ashamed to publish it.
Mhm.
And I didn't want it to be, blaming other people and, my perpetrator. I didn't want to be vicious. What I wanted it to be was more of a resource and of the solution and the more moving forward and the more empowered kind of view. Um, I was involved in rain a lot, and I read a lot of books from people that had experiences, and they would say the experiences, and they would say it so viciously that there was at the end of the book there was no solution. I wanted my book to have a solution. I wanted my book to have steps or experiences and information how to get over to the other side. So my book talks about that. It talks about, what steps, to get there. Because you feel this way, how do I get past that? Yes, that's my perpetrator. How do I get past that? Because
Right.
I had to live with my perpetrator 10 years.
Mm.
So I knew ultimate forgiveness. Not many people know that. That's one of the things that I've learned that I learned that I learned, if that makes sense. You don't know that until you've gone through it. But I wanted my book to be more than specifying the tragedy, specifying who that person was, looking for recompense, but I wanted to be solution driven. And so
Right.
that's what my book is
I
about.
think that's wonderful.
Yeah,
That,
how we get to
that
the other side.
because you can't change what's happened, right?
No.
And so often I say that because I help a lot of people that are through, going through divorce and through
Right.
some really tough situations. And the reality is, if you stay within that environment, right, that
Yeah.
negative environment, then you're taking ownership of that. If
Yeah.
you can move beyond that and figure out how you can step forward
Yeah.
and change and shift not only yourself but help
Absolutely.
other people, what a wonderful that can be. This show started out, I was on my girlfriend's show years ago. It's called
Mhm.
Victims to Survivors,
Right.
and
Okay.
she was abused growing up. We're high school friends, and she was being abused during high school by her father, and I didn't even know it. I used to go over to their house all the time. I had not a clue,
Mm-hmm.
and I was shocked to learn this. But what a wonderful human being she is, and what a
Right.
difference in the world she has made. Connie Rose, if anybody ever wants to look her up, Victims to Survivors, she's wonderful. She does a lot of work now with trafficking, and
Okay.
just a beautiful person. But it's like we don't want to stay within that negative environment.
Right.
We want to touch on it, acknowledge it. It's there, and it's
Right.
shaped our world, but it's not going to change where our purpose in life, which we're going to talk about with you at another time. And I
Yeah.
can't wait to do that. Uncovering our natural purpose in life,
Yeah.
because you've done it, you've experienced it, and you've moved through a very difficult time in your life.
Yeah.
And you've come to the other side and helping people along the way, women along the way, and women of color. You're helping a lot of women of color,
Yeah.
which is, I commend you for doing that.
Okay.
We all need it. We all need help, and I think man along the way too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about bringing you back and having you on
And
that.
I
So
will figure out. I will have you get me on early.
yeah, we'll do it. It's not a problem. Things happen for a reason, whatever it is, so we just have to
Yeah.
kind of flow with whatever it is. But now
Yes.
everyone,
Absolutely.
if you want to reach out again to Edna, her phone number is 631-295-8255. 8631, and book a life coaching session with her. And then she has on her website various different coaching platforms if it's something that you want to do. So again, it's Edna White Coaching.clickeasy.com. Very, very easy like that. It's CLICK easy.com. It's Edna White Coaching.clickeasy.com. And you can reach her that way. I don't know why. People call me when I'm on. Nobody wants me till I'm busy. But yeah, but it would be great. So we're going to talk about, when you come back, we're going to talk about uncovering your natural purpose. And Edna, again, is a certified life purpose and performance coach. She's a speaker, author, a licensed real estate broker, instructor. And you're from New York, right? Or
New York.
Yeah.
Long Island.
Island. Are you there now?
Yes.
You must have the heat on, girl.
Oh, I'm very hot-blooded. No. So, I know I'm supposed to be somewhere else. So
because we're talking, I'm in Florida, right? And so we're talking tonight, like I think today was in the 60s, and everybody's like, "Woo, it's in the 60s."
I know. I would love that. We're in the 20s, so no.
Yeah, you're in the cold country for sure. Well, I'm excited about having you come back on, talk to us a little bit about uncovering your natural purpose. I think it's important, especially as we kick off this new year, and we take stock of our lives and we figure out, what has worked in the past, what would we like to change in the future, and where do we really want to be, and what is our purpose in life, Yeah. And you'll help us travel down that road, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. So that'll be great. So we're going to have to close out the show. I love you, Edna, and I can't wait to have you back on again.
All right.
For this.
Bye now.
Okay. All right, everyone. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am Cece Schatz. We're listening to the Going Solo with Cece show. All of our information is right there on goingsolomedia.com. If you want to email me, my email is goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. And I'd be happy to help you with anything that you want. We've got some brand new sites out. You can check out them on Going Solo Network. We got everything there. Everything is there for you if you want to join. We've got the community. We've got a brand new dating site that's up, Meet the Right One. Very different. They're community sites. So they're sites where you can participate, and wonderful coaches, mentors that are on there, some empowerment, and a lot of really cool stuff that's happening for our singles here today. So again, I am Cece Schatz. We have Edna here with us, Edna White, and she's going to come back and talk to us about uncovering your natural purpose. And I can't wait for that. So Edna J White, she is a certified life purpose and performance coach, speaker, author, and a licensed real estate broker and instructor. We're going to talk to her next time. So bye, everyone. Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
See you next time. Bye.